Welcome to my channel.
The coin you are referring to is President John F. Kennedy 1981 D mint mark, is commonly misunderstood, so it is important to clarify it first. The United States did not issue a 1981 Kennedy coin featuring a new design of President John F. Kennedy. Instead, what people usually mean is the 1981 D Kennedy half dollar, which belongs to the long-running Kennedy half dollar honoring John F. Kennedy. This coin was struck in 1981 at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the D mint mark. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964 after President Kennedy's assassination, and by 1981, the design had already been in circulation for nearly 2 decades. The 1981 D issue is part of the modern clad coinage era, meaning it is not made of silver but instead composed of a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to a copper core. This change happened in 1971 when silver was removed from regular circulation half dollars. In bad condition, a 1981 D Kennedy half dollar typically shows heavy circulation wear. This includes flattened facial features on Kennedy's portrait, loss of hair detail, smooth or faded lettering, scratches, and sometimes discoloration caused by long-term handling. On the reverse side, the eagle design may appear weak, with reduced detail in the feathers and shield. Coins in this condition are usually categorized as low-grade, good to very good condition, in numismatic grading terms. Because the 1981 D Kennedy half dollar had a relatively high mintage, tens of millions produced, it is considered a common coin in the collector world. Most examples in poor or circulated condition are worth only face value, 50 cents, unless they have special characteristics such as mint errors or unusually high preservation quality. Examples in uncirculated condition can have slightly higher collector value, but still remain affordable and not rare. The design of the coin is highly symbolic. The obverse shows the left-facing portrait of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. Around the portrait are the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the year, 1981. The reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo and features the presidential seal of the United States, showing a bald eagle holding arrows and an olive branch. This symbolizes both military readiness and peace. The surrounding stars represent the states of the nation. Even in bad condition, the coin still carries historical and emotional significance. It is not just a piece of currency but a memorial to one of the most influential and beloved U.S. presidents in history. Collectors often keep such coins not for high monetary value but for historical completeness. Many beginners in coin collecting start with Kennedy half dollars because they are widely available and easy to understand. However, in rare cases, a 1981 D Kennedy half dollar can become more valuable if it has minting errors. These errors can include double die strikes, off-center designs, clipped edges, or unusual surface anomalies. Error coins are much more interesting to collectors and can sometimes sell for significantly higher prices depending on rarity and demand. From a collecting perspective, condition is the most important factor. A coin in bad condition loses most of its numismatic premium because collectors prefer sharp details and original mint luster. Still, even worn coins help complete date and mint sets, which is why they are still saved by collectors around the world. In summary, the 1981 D Kennedy half dollar is a common modern U.S. coin with strong historical significance but low market value in worn condition. It represents the continuation of the Kennedy legacy in American coinage and remains an important part of modern numismatics. Even though it is not rare or worth millions, it still holds educational, historical, and collectible value for coin enthusiasts. Next up, the 1985 P Kennedy half dollar is a United States 50-cent coin produced at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P mint mark. By 1985, the Kennedy half dollar series had already been in circulation for over 20 years. First introduced in 1964 shortly after President John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963. The coin was created as a national tribute, and it quickly became one of the most emotionally significant coins in American history. Even decades later, it still carries strong historical meaning rather than high intrinsic monetary value. The 1985 P issue belongs to the modern clad coinage era. This means it is not made of silver. Instead, it is composed of a copper-nickel clad structure, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This composition replaced silver coins starting in 1971 due to rising silver costs in the United States. Because of this change, the 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar has no silver bullion value, and its worth is based entirely on collector demand, condition, and rarity of specific varieties or errors. In bad condition, the coin typically shows heavy signs of circulation. This includes worn-out details on President Kennedy's portrait, where facial features like hair, jawline, and eye contours become smooth and less visible. The word, liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust," may appear faded or partially weak. On the reverse side, the presidential seal design may lose sharpness, making the eagle, arrows, and olive branch less distinct. In extreme wear, the coin may even lose its original shine and appear dull gray or darkened due to oxidation and handling over many years. A heavily circulated 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar is usually graded in the lower part of the coin grading scale, such as good G4, very good VG8, or fine F12. In these grades, the coin is still identifiable, but most fine details are gone. Because millions of these coins were minted, over 18 million in Philadelphia alone for 1985, they are considered very common in the numismatic world. This means that in bad condition, the coin typically holds only its face value of 50 cents. However, even though it is not rare, the coin still holds historical and collectible importance. The Kennedy half-dollar series represents a major transition in U.S. coinage history, from silver coins to modern clad coins, and reflects the economic and industrial changes of the United States during the late 20th century. Collectors often keep such coins not for profit but for completing full sets by year and mint mark. The obverse front of the coin features a left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who was the chief engraver of the United States Mint. The design was carefully created using a combination of Kennedy's official portrait and artistic engraving to represent dignity and leadership. Around the portrait are inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the year, 1985. The reverse back was designed by Frank Gasparo and shows the presidential seal of the United States. It includes a bald eagle holding arrows in one claw and an olive branch in the other, symbolizing war and peace. Above the eagle is a ring of stars representing the states of the nation. The inscriptions include, "United States of America," and "half-dollar." Collectors sometimes look for error coins in this series. If a 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar has minting mistakes, its value can increase significantly even if it is in poor condition. Possible errors include double die strikes where the design appears doubled, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, or unusual surface defects caused during minting. These rare errors are not common, but when found, they can attract collector interest. Even in bad condition, coins, like the 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar, are often kept in collections because they help complete full date and mint sets. Many collectors prefer to upgrade later, replacing worn coins with higher-grade examples while still keeping the older ones for reference. From a global collecting perspective, even outside the United States, such coins are popular among beginners because they are easy to find and represent important American history. In countries like Pakistan, collectors often trade or study these coins as part of international numismatics. In conclusion, the 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar in bad condition is not rare and does not hold high monetary value. It is a common circulation coin with historical significance tied to President John F. Kennedy. Its worth mainly depends on condition and whether it contains any rare mint errors. While it is not a $1 million coin, It remains an important piece of modern U.S. coinage history and a meaningful collectible for those interested in world coins and presidential memorabilia. The 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar featuring John F. Kennedy is one of the most widely recognized coins in modern United States numismatics, yet when found in bad or heavily circulated condition, it becomes a fascinating example of how history, usage, and time affect both appearance and value. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark located on the obverse side just below Kennedy's neck. The United States Mint began producing the Kennedy half-dollar in 1964 as a tribute shortly after the tragic assassination of President Kennedy, and by 1971, the series had already undergone a major transformation. Earlier coins from 1964 contained 90% silver, and those from 1965-1970 had 40% silver, but starting in 1971, including the 1971 D issue, the composition was changed to a copper-nickel clad structure with no silver content at all, making these coins far less valuable in terms of intrinsic metal worth. The obverse design, created by Gilroy Roberts, shows a left-facing portrait of Kennedy with the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1971, while the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, features a heraldic eagle holding arrows in an olive branch, adapted from the presidential seal, symbolizing strength and peace. In uncirculated condition, this design can be quite detailed and visually appealing, but when the coin is in bad condition, much of that beauty is lost. Heavy circulation causes the high points of the design, such as Kennedy's hair, cheek, and jawline, to become flat and smooth, while the eagle's feathers on the reverse may lose definition, blending into a worn, almost featureless surface. Scratches, rim dings, discoloration, and even corrosion can further degrade the coin, especially if it has been exposed to moisture or improper storage over decades. From a collector's perspective, condition is one of the most critical factors in determining a coin's value. A 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar that is graded as good or very good typically has very little collector premium and is often worth only its face value of 50 cents. In some cases, it may sell for slightly more, perhaps up to $1 or $2, if included in a bulk lot or sold to a beginner collector, but it is not considered rare. This is largely due to its extremely high mintage, which exceeded 300 million coins, meaning that millions of examples still exist today. However, even in poor condition, the coin still carries historical significance as part of the post-silver era of U.S. coinage. It represents a time when rising silver prices forced the government to remove precious metals from circulating coins, fundamentally changing the nature of everyday currency. For many collectors, owning a worn 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar is still meaningful because it may have passed through countless hands over decades, potentially being used in everyday transactions during the 1970s and beyond. Another interesting aspect of these coins is the possibility of mint errors. While rare, some 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollars have been found with errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks. Even a coin in otherwise poor condition could be worth significantly more if it displays a clear and desirable error. Therefore, collectors are often encouraged to examine their coins carefully under magnification before dismissing them as common. Additionally, some people search for coins with unusually strong strikes or attractive toning, even if the coin shows wear, as these characteristics can add a small premium. Despite all this, it is important to remain realistic. Most 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollars in bad condition are not valuable in a monetary sense, and anyone expecting a high price is likely to be disappointed. Nevertheless, the coin's value is not purely financial. It also holds educational and sentimental value. It can serve as an entry point for new collectors learning about grading, mint marks, and coin composition. It also connects directly to the legacy of President Kennedy, whose image continues to appear on the half-dollar more than half a century after his presidency. For some individuals, especially those who inherit coins from family members, a worn 1971 D half-dollar may carry personal memories that far exceed its market price. In the broader context of numismatics, such coins are often used to complete date and mint collections, even if they are later upgraded to better quality examples. In conclusion, the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar in bad condition is a common but historically meaningful coin. While it typically holds little monetary value beyond its face value, it still represents an important shift in U.S. coinage history and the enduring legacy of John F. Kennedy. Its worn surfaces tell a story of decades of circulation and use, making it a small but tangible piece of history that continues to capture the interest of collectors around the world. Please like and subscribe to my channel.